Hello, everyone. Good evening and welcome to Paranormal Hot Seat. I am your host, Donna Guerin, and with me I have Laura Gattano. She is my guest co-host tonight. Stacy is unable to make it.
Thanks for having
So,
me.
thanks for coming on. I really appreciate it. So tonight we have Jill Shelley. Jill Shelley owns the Boyd House in Minnesota, and it's notoriously haunted. So we're going to talk to her about her house and get some ideas about what makes you want to buy a haunted house. So here we are. There's Jill. Hey, Jill.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Oh, thank you for coming. So, that's going to be my first thing. Did you know this house was haunted when you bought it?
Well, I investigated it.
Okay.
So then, so I started out looking for a haunted location, which nobody's advertising, like, hey, my house is haunted.
Right.
So I kind of just went off basic, some instinct. So, I had looked at other houses, but when I came across the Boyd house, it was kind of that, how you have that, this is the one feeling, like,
Yeah.
I know this is it. So I kind of had that feeling about it. And I went to investigate the house, and I got a couple things on the spirit box. One was like a lady that said, "Who are you?" And then we had a REM pod that went off within about 8 minutes after us being there in one of the rooms.
Wow.
So we had just a little bit of activity. So I wasn't sure on, that. So I kind of checked with a psychic medium that I really trusted. And she said, "Oh my gosh, there's like 8 spirits there." She kind of described like men, women, children, a lot of the stuff that she said came true after owning the house. But then I thought, well, let's just check with the owners because, they lived there for 30 years. They must have surely had something.
Right.
So they were real hesitant to actually talk about it just because they are an older couple and, that age group of people. Like if you actually said you saw ghosts, believe in ghosts, whatever, you're crazy. But they did say that the woman said that, "Oh my gosh, I thought that house was always funny." And she said that sometimes she would hear old fashioned music playing. So she
Wow.
kind of asked her children, and they had several experiences, and so had their friends had several experiences in the house as well. So just kind of based on that, as I took a leap of faith and purchased the home, and so it's kind of been an interesting history from there.
I bet. I was just like I was sitting backstage and I found an article about Mary Ranger wrote on the house, and she called it the most haunted home in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, it definitely is in the middle of nowhere. The town of Boyd itself is only a grand population of 175 people. And it is pretty much, you drive through a lot of farm fields, cornfields, and then all of a sudden, poof, there's a little town, and then you just keep on going. And we don't really have any businesses in town. There's like a cafe and a bar, of course, in the town. So we really don't even have like a gas station.
Wow.
Anything like that. So there's really not a whole lot there. So, but back in the day, it was a big Wild West booming town. So they had a population of 500. It was right on the railroad tracks. They had just, so many businesses in town. They had hardware stores and grocery stores. They actually had a billiard hall and a movie theater. Just tons and tons of restaurants. So yeah, it was crazy. We have a lot of pictures hanging in the Boyd house too of a lot of that old history. It looks right out of the old West scene, with the horses tied to the hitching posts and all that kind of stuff. So it's got a lot of history.
Oh, yeah. So do you live near there, or are you in Minnesota? Where are you located?
No, I do live in Minnesota. I don't live in the house. I probably live a little bit of ways from it. So we don't live there. I really like investigating and going on locations. I just don't want to live in one. So
yeah.
Do you think living there would spike up the activity even more?
I suppose with me living there, they know who I am. We get a lot of EVPs of, where's Jill, or we'll be on the spirit box, hi Jill, or hey, I know you.
Oh,
so they definitely know who I am. I spend a lot of time with the spirits and things like that, and I talk to them just like I'm having a conversation with you. You know,
Yeah.
one of my favorite EVPs is I was in doing some cleaning, and I was just rambling on, like, you know, I'm going to a wedding this weekend. You have ever been to a wedding? You know, and I just, you know, kept you know, I just didn't stop. And so because of that, I kind of drowned out some of the EVP. But it was this old woman with a raspy voice that just said, "I'm trying to sleep." So it's like,
Oh,
you know,
wow.
so that was kind of funny. You know, here's this poor lady. She's trying to take a nap midday, and I'm in there just talking away, you know.
That's funny because I don't know. I just want to think that they need to sleep. She's just being grumpy, I think.
Yeah. Like I said, I don't know if they
That's
really
funny.
need to sleep. But with most of our EVPs that we do get are interactions with actually what's going on at the time, or a particular question that you answered. So it's not too much that we have random. Every once in a while, you'll get a random word that, you know, doesn't correlate to anything that's going on. But yeah, so it's pretty cool.
I get that just
Yes.
the other day for the very first time I had an EVP come through in a foreign language. I couldn't understand. I mean, I could tell he was very fluently speaking something, but I thought maybe German. But I couldn't understand it, obviously.
Yeah, we've had a couple of teams say that they've gotten stuff in like maybe like Danish that they thought, but you know, particularly I do know most of the that particular area was German, but they did have, you know, intermix of different cultures, but I know it was predominantly German in that area.
Neat.
Yeah. So what's the house used for now? I mean, it's just not sitting empty, is it?
Well, pretty much. I mean, we pretty much just use it mainly for teams to come in and do overnight paranormal investigations. So,
okay.
yeah, we allow teams to come in. We let them have it from 3 p.m. till noon the next day. They're the only ones in the house.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. And it's a fully functioning house, so you can come winter if you dare to brave the Minnesota cold and snow and stuff. So,
Actually, yeah, I actually got a couple of pictures. There's one for the winter. It looks kind of creepy. Yeah, it's like, woo. Well, of course it looks cool because it's Minnesota, but still. Then the water tank in the ground.
Like in the 20 below 25 degrees below below temperature. So, but it's warm in the house.
I guess this is an older picture here of the house.
Yeah, it's, you know, I made it a black and white because I thought it looked cooler as a black and white.
Oh, okay, yeah, makes it look a little creepier.
Right.
So, do you think the Eckharts are the ones that's still in the house?
Well, now see, our date goes back to like 1889. But the most history that we have on the house is from the Eckhart family. So there were other families that lived there prior, but we didn't find anything significant. Like there was nothing really major. They kind of owned it, they sold it, they moved on. So nothing tragic, nothing that we could find. But the most history have them would be the Eckhart family, who moved in 1912, and they lived up in there till 1958.
Yeah, I found a picture of them too.
Yep, that's Fred.
There it is.
Yep,
yeah, Fred and Minnie.
Fred and Minnie, yep. And they were really well-respected business owners in town. So they own a real fancy general type store. So they sold, you know, like fur coats and shoes and dry goods, and they were known for making their own bologna. So they were really respected. They helped also build the Lutheran church. He was on the school board. He was on the fire department.
Oh, wow.
So very well-respected businessman in town. And I feel like that's why he stays there to this day, because he loved his house and the town and everything so much. Minnie actually died in the house, and her funeral was held in there for 4 days.
Oh, wow.
So, you know, and I think that, you know, I think they just all kind of stay. 2 of their children passed away in the home, one in infancy, and then one actually choked to death in the home.
Dang. Wow.
So we get a lot of childlike activity, but we also get some older childlike activity too. Like I feel like between 8 and 12-ish years of age. I don't really know where those children have come from. You know, we get one that says his name is Luke, and we have quite a bit of interaction. He says he's 8, but as far as like any, you know, significant documents on that, I haven't been able to verify that. I just know we have that constant interaction and him saying Luke. So, you know, the research continues.
Yeah. Wow. It's interesting to see who that is. Maybe he's attached to the land and not necessarily that particular home. Who knows?
Right. And then also the town itself was actually butted up also against the Sioux Dakota reservation line. So there, I'm sure there was a lot of stuff that happened back then. And there was actually a war too with the Native Americans in that area, not very far from there. There's a lot of history, and I'm just sure, they didn't keep track of records. I've had a couple psychics.
Back then,
yeah, some people may have passed away in the house from tuberculosis, but you're not going to find the records on that, is what they've said. So just because we get a lot of different names that come through that don't correlate, but we also have a lot of haunted objects supposedly in the house. We've also furnished it back into and renovated it back into the 1900s. So we do have a lot of antiques. So we don't know if anything could possibly be attached with any of those particular objects. And I think also doing what we do at the Boyd House with all the investigation that's going on, we almost kind of create like a little bit of a beacon for spirits to come and pass through. The railroad track is also right behind the property. So we'll get some energy off of that as well. So I think there's just a lot of factors that vary into that house and the location.
Yeah.
So I want to ask you a question. So I don't know why, because I haven't heard you say anything that would trigger this, but I feel like I keep hearing something about like the Amish community. Is there something relevant about Amish in that house by chance, or surrounding that house, or anything that you know of?
Not that I'm aware of. I mean, we do have Amish in Minnesota, and I'm not sure where they're more prevalent because there's different towns that I drive through. Sometimes it's northern, sometimes it's southern.
Okay.
Depending where they are. But as far as in that particular area, I haven't noticed that there is a prevalence, but it doesn't mean there couldn't be or there is.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Hi, Jeff. How are you? I'm good. Thanks for coming. He wants to know how everyone's doing. We're good. So when you renovated, like I said, you got the railroad there. You renovated it, so that probably kicked up a lot of activity too, huh?
Yeah, we did get some activity there. I did get actually a really cool EVP when I was doing some spackling. That I would hear a guy say that looks very elegant. I'm so because I suppose back then they didn't have spackle, so he probably just sees me filling stuff in and then kind of sanding it down. I suppose that probably looks kind of neat to somebody from the 1900s.
Yeah, so it sounds like you got a lot of intelligent stuff going on there, that they're actually answering questions and telling you that it looks elegant. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah. Sometimes you feel it's kind of creepy. I had one too that I was just getting everything cleaned up from the morning, and I get home and listen to the voice recorder, and I hear, "How are you this morning?" from some guy. So it's like,
wow.
It's like, this guy, I didn't see him. He's standing in there looking at me, and so I just love getting EVPs too. I hate doing the work to listen for them, but I just get so ecstatic.
Oh my God, I know.
When you get something, you're like, oh my God, especially if you know, that we've had them from. My team, St. Croix Paranormal, we've been traveling for, since 2010, all over different haunted locations, and we've got so many different voices. It's just so amazing. I just love it.
Hey, Jill, did you say that the prevalent owner, that it was a Lutheran church that he started there?
Yes, Lutheran.
So I think that's where I'm picking up the Amish, because it says, that's what I was looking up. I'm like, no, this means something. The Amish and the Mennonites are pretty similar in Ohio as far as their beliefs might be different, but to see them, you often have a hard time. And it said that they're actually pretty similar to Lutherans. It's something about the baptisms are different with their infants, though. So that's why I kept seeing or hearing about the Amish, I think.
Okay. Yeah, that would make sense. There's a little bit of that connection there.
Yeah, for sure. Interesting. Hey, Kat.
Hey, Brian. I think my internet is being goofy.
You're not dragging or legging or anything. You look good.
Okay, good. All good. Hi, Catherine. Well, she said hi, Laura, but hi, Catherine.
Say hey, lady.
I was about to ask her a question. Now it's I can't remember what it was. Oh wow. Yeah, Laura's this one of the psychics on there in Parafam. So yeah, she's gonna pick up some stuff from.
Yeah, sorry, it was driving me nuts. I'm like, what is this?
um. So okay, so you've had, let's see, EVPs. I love the audio. That's probably my favorite piece of equipment is my audio recorders, because with video, if with me, I'm still working on trying to get lighting right when I have the video going, so everything always seems to come out so dark, and I hate that. But with audio, you can't miss. Seems like.
Right.
Because I've caught some great EVPs in some of the places too, and we got called a puta one day. And we were at one location. Stacy and I was like, "Wait, did I just hear that?"
You heard it.
Yeah,
So
we'll actually hear some audible voices too. At the Boyd House, I've heard a couple things audibly, so that's really been cool to hear that too. Especially, like, I think my favorite one is I was cleaning in one area up on this ledge where we've given like gifts for Minnie, things that we've been told by her great grandson, things that she liked. So we've kind of made a little shelf collection for her. So I was kind of cleaning, picking things up and dusting. My friend was in the kitchen doing some stuff there. And all of a sudden I heard like this electronic-y, like 2 words, couldn't really understand what it said. I thought she'd turned on a spirit box or something. But then, this all happened in split seconds. And then she's like, "What'd you say?" And I said, "Well, I didn't say nothing. What did you hear?" And she's like, "I heard a woman say, 'leave it.'" And I said, "Well, I was picking up the fern. So maybe she thought I was going to do something with it."
wow.
So yeah, that was kind of cool. But I've audibly heard kids' voices say stuff. A lot of people hear just children laughing and playing in the house too. So we've mostly, or for me anyway, I've mostly heard adult speaking, mostly women talking. I remember one morning I woke up really, really early before everybody. And the way the house is, it's got the old floor grates, so you can hear and see between the floors.
Yeah.
So I woke up and then, I was like, oh, it's kind of nice, kind of peaceful. Just going to lay here, enjoy the sunrise. And then I started hearing women's voices talking downstairs, and I'm like, oh, the girls are up. I'm going to go down there. So I go down there and they're all dead asleep. And I'm like, okay,
Oh wow.
so that wasn't them.
I think it's such a neat concept, though, that how as we all become more accepting of knowing that the paranormal exists, it's almost as if it helps them manifest better, to present. And I mean, back in the day, shoot, I remember even growing up as a kid, if you said you heard somebody speaking that wasn't there, they'd be like, nope. So that's really cool.
Yeah. Like I said, we accept it, and it doesn't scare us anymore. It's really,
right.
So Jeff said he was once at the Bel Air house waiting for a team and for his friend, and then it was cold around in my legs, and the candle came on by itself. Wow. Then the cold
candle lit by itself.
Wow, that's awesome. Yeah, that's pretty awesome. I haven't. Okay, so the things that I've heard, I've always had. I haven't heard them with my with my ears. I have this ghost radio or ghost box. It's not really a ghost box. It's like a hack radio, but I plug an external speaker into it where I can actually hear as it's going. So I've heard things that way. And you can hear me on the audio recorder going, "What was that?"
So it's so funny how we begin talking to them like they're just in the room with us, right?
Yeah, it's just like, "What was that? I didn't hear that. Can you repeat that?" So yeah, but I've caught some good things too. So that's usually what I do, and then I'll go back and listen to it to see exactly what they said. But yeah, we got the one that goes, "You're amazing." It was a male's voice. I go, what was that? He goes, "Yeah." So yeah, that one was pretty funny. So do you still investigate? Because it says that you I guess you founded a team, the St. Croix Paranormal.
Yeah, St. Croix Paranormal. Yeah, we did that in 2010. We just kind of started out doing private homes and businesses. Then we decided to take it on the road and start traveling to well-known haunted locations and spending the night, just getting research and answers to our questions, and which fueled my passion then even further, and then making me decide that, oh my gosh, I want my own haunted location. So that's kind of how we ended up there. But yeah, we've been to a lot of different locations, and it's just every place has got a story. Every place.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. I'm sitting up here going, it would be cool to own a haunted house.
I know, right? Although I feel like I am obsessive now. Like I've started using that. I'm not usually big on apps, but I really love that necrophonic app. I like so many spirits talk to me all the time on it. So I feel like I'm already kind of obsessive. I listen to it on the way to work, talking to them in the car and on the way home. And it freaks my daughter out. But I'm thinking, man, if I lived in a house like that, owned a house, I don't think I'd stay out of there. Like I would be in there to explore.
I know. I would probably live there.
Right. I'm moving in.
Yeah, no, I love being in there. Like it's just when I walk in, it's just a whole like, I'm home, and it's just, I like being in there. But we have a lot of guests that come in too, so that unfortunately keeps you out of there. But I love seeing what other get because actually it's put some validity to some of the things that I've had, and then sometimes maybe they find out something that I don't know about something, and so we're all learning together, and I've had like I think like another team say that I think they were up in the attic talking to some children, and they said that they wanted a stuffed elephant, so because of that I went out and bought a stuffed elephant. So I bring them gifts.
Oh, wow.
So, they can't do it. Just recently we had Teresa was doing one of the Estes methods. And that girl, I don't know, on my team, that I've never seen her.
The Estes method.
I have never seen anybody Estes like her. I mean, we've had many psychics come and say that she is the biggest beacon they've ever seen. So she's actually one who gets a lot of interaction mostly on her team, but with the Estes, she just like, I can literally have sometimes up to an hour conversation like I'm having with you. Like we've had kids have us draw pictures on blackboards. We've had them we're making food for them. And it's just dead on, spot on, crazy conversations based on what's going on. And it goes on for like ever. But yeah, she just recently had one with Luke, the boy I was talking about earlier, that he didn't have any shoes and he wanted a pair of blue shoes size 6. So I ended up finding a pair of blue shoes size 6 and brought those. So
wow.
Yeah. So I figured,
that's pretty detailed.
Yeah, maybe they can't use it, obviously they can't really wear shoes, but I don't know. I think they really appreciate the gestures. Right. I think maybe that's why, it's kind of a give and take thing that, they like to interact and I bring them gifts. And, other people give them gifts too. I find stuff around the house. I'm like, look at what you guys got. So
that's awesome. Yes, Jeff wants to know if you've been in Ohio.
Yeah, I've been to Ohio a couple times. I've done the Bel Air House, and Prospect Place was another one, the Gill House, and I think there's one or two other, Saddam's Rectory. We've been there, and I think those are all the ones in Ohio that I can think of at the moment that we've been to, because you guys over there got a lot of really cool places. It's just such a long drive.
Franklin Castle is pretty cool if you ever get a chance to go there as well.
Yes, I've heard of that one. It's on the radar.
Yeah, it's really nice. The only bad thing about that is some people actually they've got it built out now like an apartment complex kind of. It's still its original structure, but it's kind of weird because I remember going up to the highest level and they have all this really neat furniture that was brought over with it and stuff. And you really want to like dig around, but you can't because it's somebody, and some of the residents are sitting there in the room while you're like walking around their stuff. So it's kind of odd, but it's a experience.
I've never seen you there before.
Where, Jeff?
We like.
Are you talking to me or Jill? Maybe someone.
I don't know. I think he's talking to Jill. Yeah. We might be going to Tombstone again this weekend, so I always love it down there. You get a lot of stuff you get is residual, but I've actually had some conversations, I guess you could say, activity on the cat ball and some stuff on the audio, so that was pretty cool. So
you
what's
get
the most?
year-round warm weather. It's nice.
Yeah, it's nice, but
But
actually, believe it or not, actually, right now is southern Arizona is actually kind of cold. The last couple of days have been warm. It was really nice yesterday and today, but it's kind of cold down there now, especially at night.
cold
So
though, 50-degree. We're
actually, I
like
got down
-20, you know.
there. Hey, in the desert, that's cold.
Yeah, I know.
I think when Eldon went down, it was like in the 30s. It got pretty cold.
Yeah, that is cold.
They
That's
said
what
he
we're at
mentioned,
now.
yeah, it's been pretty cold. But like I said, it was like, what was it, 70 something today? It was gorgeous. I loved it. Loved it, loved it, loved it. So is there a place that you have like a favorite place beside your house that you would go back to? And do you have one that you would never go back to because it scared the crap out of you?
Well, my favorite place I think is Edinburgh Manor in Iowa. That's like one of my top places. I think we've been there like 4 or 5 times already.
Oh, wow.
It's a real small asylum, but it's really good. Always get a lot of good activity. My favorite, the first time we were there, we had so much interaction. Like all of our equipment was going off, even on other floors when we were up on other floors. We had a door slam. But we had a lot of interaction with a kid in one of the playrooms. We were playing with a little girl. But then later I caught AEVP when I was like, okay, well, good night. It was really fun to play with you. And then she said, I'm going to miss you.
Oh,
When we left. And so I kind of kept going back to trying to get contact with her, and I never did. I never have gotten contact with her since then, at least that I'm aware of. Maybe she's moved on now. I don't know. But it's just such a cool, fun place to go. We did have a place that I did end up returning 5 years later, but originally it was Whispers Estate in Mitchell, Indiana. So if people aren't real familiar with it, it was owned by a doctor who did a lot of unethical things with his patients. A lot of the body parts are buried in the backyard.
oh wow.
His
Wow.
daughter accidentally caught herself on fire. And then so he mercy killed her 3 days later with an overdose of morphine. They had a child fall down the stairs. And then one of the other prevalent spirits, a really crabby guy, one of the groundskeeper, as he was putting his stuff away upstairs in the closet on his day of retirement, he dropped out of a heart attack.
Oh.
So now
crap.
He's super pissed off, and he does a lot of bad things to people. So there's this closet that they have, and then when I'm talking closet, it's a big one. You can walk in. They actually had like a little table and a couple chairs and other stuff in there. They told us that people get locked in there when it's one of those, like you kind of put the hook up, lock it, and then drop it back down, kind of so how people are getting locked in that way. A lot of scratches and stuff.
Wow.
So the whole night while we were in that house, originally it was just like intense, like cobwebs. Like you're constantly with everyone just brushing their face all night long. Just couldn't, it's like, oh my God. And you could, there was no cobwebs around. That's the thing. And, then we saw like wet footprints coming up from the basement and just a lot of energy in that house. But then we were sitting in that closet and I got this voice in my head that said, get out of this closet. And I just thought, well, I don't really like being in closets anyway, because I got a thing. I don't want to get locked in a room or a door that freaks me out. So I just stepped out and I left Teresa in there because, that's what good friends do, right? So then on the spirit box, as we were running, it said, shut this door. And we didn't do that either. So then next thing you know, Teresa, who was sitting on this chair, her and the chair come flying about 4 feet out of the room. She
Holy crap.
On fours. And she says she could feel the chair get picked up and physically thrown because we didn't adhere, what that spirit had said.
Wow.
So yeah, that was like, for her, she was never there again. So then 5 years later, Stephanie really wanted to go again. So we decided to go, but Teresa would not go. We didn't get the same level of energy that we did that night. And I don't know if it's because Teresa wasn't with us or, each house has different energy levels on different days. So it just could have been, we hit it on a really good day that day.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, see, I'm originally from Illinois, and there's a lot of stuff around Illinois, but I didn't really, I guess, get into the paranormal until after I left Chicago, because I had a book called Haunted Heartland, and it gives you like all of these stories around Ohio, Iowa, Illinois, and all around the Midwest. And I was reading about some of the stuff in Chicago. I was like, man, I should go back there. I didn't know that when I was living there. What's the farthest you've traveled from your house or whatever to go do an investigation? How far have you gone?
I would probably say Ohio is probably the farthest, and then going the other way, I think, is Kansas.
Yeah.
The farthest that we've gone in the other direction. So yeah, I know this year we're kind of taking a little break from traveling because everybody's got life changes going on right now.
Yeah.
So we might only just do 1 or 2 trips this year and then just concentrate on the Boyd House. But yeah, I love going on the road trips. It's so much fun.
Yeah, we got a big one coming up. I'm looking forward to that. But we're doing a lot of local stuff right now, and look like we're going to get a residential house sometime in the next couple of weeks. We're going to do that one. Somebody reached out to us, so that's going to be pretty cool. I like doing the residentials.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, never know what you're going to find.
Yeah,
right.
It's always different. Versus when you go into a haunted location that you know history about, then you kind of know the names and things you're looking for and what other people got. But then when, like you say, when you get into a new location, you don't know nothing. You know?
Exactly. Especially, yeah. And this guy wants specifics about who is. Well, good night, Jeff. Thank you for tuning in. He wants specifics about who's in his house. Why are they there? So yeah, we're definitely gonna have to take one of the psychics through it and see if we can get him some answers. So that's gonna be an interesting night. May have to go back a couple of times, so we'll see. But
I think it's funny because people don't realize they're around us no matter where we're at. Like they're always here. Just like it doesn't matter if you get rid of these guys. Like you're gonna still have them around you all the time. Like
yeah, I want to do. There's a prison, Southern Arizona, that I want to do. There's actually quite a few places. I'm ready to go stay at it's called the Hacienda Inn in Prescott, Arizona. That it's a hotel that's really haunted. I got a room booked up there. I'm gonna go my birthday weekend, so I'm going up there next month. That's gonna be interesting. So they have this. Yeah, there's this room called Faith's Room. I guess this room is where this young lady. I don't know if she died in the room or I haven't gotten the story yet. That she's notorious for being in this room, and the manager of the hotel told me that she likes pretty things. So if you have like this, you know, a cute compact or a cute thing of lipstick or whatever, she was like, "Oh, it'll come up missing." I was like, "Well, that's funny." She said, "You get it back before you leave, but it'll come up missing." So that room is booked that weekend, but she put me in the room next to it, so I'm looking forward to that. That's going to be pretty interesting.
Yeah, you have to bring a gift or something. Maybe it'll draw them to come on over.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah. So how many people you know going to spend their birthday in a haunted house or haunted location?
I did that for my wedding anniversaries. I told my husband, "Is that okay?" Like, so we just celebrate and then a little investigating. It's like, and he's not into this at all, you know. I mean, awesome. He likes watching the stuff I do, and of course, he helps me out at the Boyd House and stuff. But not really his cup of tea. So yeah, I find it kind of funny. It's a little bit.
That's pretty awesome.
Anniversaries on an old hotel.
So was it always called the Boyd House?
Yeah, I just named that. When I got it, I didn't have any history on it yet, so I didn't know like the family members, you know, what to call it or anything. So I just thought I'd name it after the town. So not real original or anything, but it kind of fits it, you know?
Yeah.
Well, thanks, Jeff. I'm actually in Ohio, so I was actually trying to remember your name so that I can connect with you offline.
Yeah, someday hopefully I'll make it back. It's a long drive though.
Yeah, I'm sure from there because you're close. Come down to Arizona sometime. We got lots of history here.
Yeah, we've always talked about trying to fly, but I just kind of feel like the nightmare of trying to get a REM pod and stuff through security might just not be very good.
You know, I know because I was thinking about that going to Virginia later this year, and it's like. First I thought about flying, and I'm like, I'll have to check my bag. It's like they're going to be like, what kind of crap has she got in these bags?
Yeah,
so we're going to probably do the 2-day drive to go there. But
Right.
yeah, so we can take all our equipment. Yeah, that's gonna be interesting. So it's a haunted asylum. Jeff said send him a friend request, Laura. Oh, Jill. He said send us
Okay.
Jill, send him a friend
Oh,
request.
Will do.
Okay. What do you have anything for her, Laura?
I just am enjoying all of her stories. I guess I could ask you, have you always been intrigued with the paranormal, or did you have like an event that occurred that got you like really interested in it?
Oh, I just kind of always been fascinated by weird, spooky things since I was little. I just kind of remember always like watching the scary movies and just sitting around with my cousins telling ghost stories, that kind of thing. I had an experience at my grandma's house when I was younger that there was a room that she had, and it always felt really cold, and like was always staring at you like get out. They didn't want you there. Um, so I didn't really like playing in there very much. But I remember one particular night, I woke up, had my back was towards the door, and I woke up because I heard footsteps coming out of that room and stood in front of my door. And then you could just feel like that I'm intently staring at you, like almost like looking through you. And I was probably like 8 years old or something, so I was not turning around. I was just terrified. Then they just kind of took a deep breath, walked back, went into the other room, and that was that. Mentioned it to my parents and grandma that morning when we were having breakfast, but I knew it was my parents because I could hear them snoring in the next room. My grandma sleeps downstairs, so it wouldn't have been her. But she just kind of blew it off, and she's like, "Oh my gosh, honey, it's just a ghost. It's not going to hurt you." So I was just like, "Okay, so grandma's not afraid." So then it just kind of spiraled me into wanting to know a little bit more about the paranormal and spirits. I think that kind of helped fuel my passion towards what I was doing. And then I didn't know probably until, obviously 2010, I guess, pretty much when all the, paranormal shows had come out, is that, oh my God, you really can go do this? I didn't know this was a thing. So then I just kind of is doing a little bit more research and things. And then, the rest is history. Let's meet a great group of people, just kind of, we're a big family now. And we just continue to keep going on investigations and researching and getting some answers.
Yeah, there you go. How many people's on your team?
We just have 4 people. Yeah, and I like that. We've had more people, then it gets a little bit hairier too to kind of juggle everybody's lives of that at that point. But we still have the core 4 of us, and we have talked about it now that we just decided that we're just going to stick with us 4. We just kind of vibe really good together.
That's good.
We have great dynamics. So yeah, we're just going to kind of keep it to the way we have it. So.
Yeah, we kind of got. Oh, Jeff, keep in touch. My phone needs to be charged. Okay, he sent you a friend request. Yeah, we're trying to expand more. I have a team that's going to cover like the northern part of the state. There's the central part of the state where I live because I live in Phoenix, and then we got a team that's down by Tucson. So wherever. There's somebody, like I said, up in Flagstaff or whatever, that we can send a team up there without a problem. But we got about, 22 people total on McInville. Yeah, we kind of, like I said, we're kind of spread out across the state a little bit. So we're trying to expand.
Yeah, that does help, when you get overall the.
Oh, well, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm in Phoenix. They're in Tucson. That's pretty cool. Yeah, so yeah, but I would love to. I've heard some other stories about some places in Minnesota, but like I said, I love to travel anyway. It's just trying to get out to do it because I have a 10-year-old autistic child, so I don't want to put her on the road. So it's like, okay, so can you keep her for me while I'm gone for like 10 days? Yeah. It's like, yeah, so that doesn't go over very well, but yeah, hopefully I can get out and do some more stuff. But Arizona has such a rich history of, haunted locations anyway, so.
Yeah, Minnesota doesn't have a whole lot. I mean, we have, some of the well-known haunted a couple of places, but for the most part, you know, you have to, it's just places that you hear of and you can't get access to go because, you know, it's private property, that kind of
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
So that's why we travel.
Exactly. So now that my dad's here visiting from Chicago, and I'm thinking, because now one of my twins went back to Illinois. I lived in Bloomington before I moved here several years in Central Illinois. So I'm going, well, if I go back and visit Leroy, go back and visit Dad, maybe I can arrange to go see some haunted stuff in Chicago because it's only a 2-hour drive from Central Illinois. Grandmother's house in Michigan is very haunted. Oh, Victoria home. Oh, cool. Yeah, my aunt's house in Topeka was haunted. That's kind of how I started getting into it. We were freaking out. So much stuff happening in our house. She goes, oh, that's just the kids that lived here before, or that's just my parents, because I think her parents died in the house. So she was just so, nonchalant about it. She was just so used to it. She didn't care. She was like, oh, that's just so-and-so. That's just so-and-so. But yeah, I think I'm going to go back and try to find some stuff in Chicago to get into. Once it warms up, of course.
Yep. Illinois got a lot of places too.
I can't do the winters anymore. The older I got, the more I hated winter. So I was like, nope, time to go. Yeah, it's I think it's the cemetery. Can't remember offhand where it is, but it's on the north side of Chicago. There's a spirit there called Resurrection Mary that people have seen quite a bit. Have you heard of it, Laura?
Yes.
Yeah. Like cab drivers say they'll look in their mirror and she's like in the back seat of the cab, and they've seen her around bars and all kinds of stuff. So
have you ever thought about doing like a live video stream in your house to allow people to like jump on 24 hours a day and watch it, maybe if they have a membership or something?
No, we haven't done anything like that.
That would be cool.
We just recently got security cameras in there. So hopefully I'm hoping maybe I can get something that way. But yeah, we haven't done any like live streaming, hop on. I know some places have done that. So, definitely we can consider that in the future for sure.
I just think about all these live cams they have for everything from hawks' nests and eagles' nests and watching this. So I'm just like, hey, you might be able to get a few dollars for a membership or something, and people can watch that way if they can't come visit,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that would be cool. Resurrection Mary sounds scary as fuck.
It does. So you sound like I've heard of her.
Yeah, yes, she does, especially if you're driving a cab and you look up and she's in the back seat.
I wouldn't care what their name was at that point. That would be scary, right?
You'd be like, what the hell? What? You're looking around like, what the hell you come from? You look up again and she's gone. So yeah.
Then there would be me turning on that necrophonic, being like, what's your name? I see.
We were at one place and I kept hearing whistling. And I was like, okay, you're sitting up here whistling at us. Come on out and talk. Tell us who you are. So it's like just a whistle, just like 3 or 4 times, just whistling. It's like, okay, so I'm listening. I can hear you.
Maybe that's all that they can.
We've had some great energy-wise. Yeah, it could be. Yeah. But yeah, we're gonna, like I said, we got a few places come up. But the guy in I know I've talked about this probably last week, but the Terror Trader in Chandler, his store he sells horror stuff all year long. And he has cursed items in that store. So it was a very interesting night when he let us come in and investigate. So I was like, can I come back? Can I come back? So, because he's got security cameras with stuff that he's caught, but his security cameras doesn't have audio. He's got stuff that, that fell off the shelf and all kinds of stuff. So yeah, he's going to let me come back. He's getting ready to move into a bigger space because he has more stuff than what fits in that small space. I was like, dang. But yeah, I'm looking forward to that. It's going to be fun.
Yeah, we do have one picture at the house that somebody gave us, and that's the only thing that we have that's kind of negative at the house that we know of. She had found it on the side of the road with her husband, and it was like kind of the same painting. Like it was this weird painting. I can't even describe it, like with a monkey sitting on a chair, and it's a lot of blue illustrations. It's just a weird painting. And then around the frame is a story written about monkeys. So you actually like have to turn it to like read it. So
Oh, wow.
I kind of feel like when my friend was doing that, I'm like, I think you're opening a portal while you're doing it. So, it's just, anyway, she had found this painting on the side of the road, very much like what was in the painting. They brought it home. She always felt like something was always staring at her, like she didn't get a really good vibe from it. Her husband put it out in the garage and became extremely obsessed with the painting. Like he would just be staring at it some days. She would just find him. Eventually he did commit suicide in the painting. And
okay, did anybody just hear that noise?
Wow.
Wait.
No.
I didn't hear anything.
Did any of the audience that's watching hear? I heard like a on over the recorder. As you were talking about the suicide, as soon as you said that, the scream came through. See, she heard it too.
Yeah, I didn't hear nothing. But
wow, no.
Goosebumps. You're going to have to go back and watch it like around 45, 46 minutes.
Oh, someone heard it.
Huh, okay.
People did. Yeah.
As soon as you said he ended up committing suicide, it sounded like a scream, like someone screamed. You heard it too. Yeah.
I just said it was distortion, I think. So, yeah, I'll have to listen to it again.
Did he by chance shoot himself or hang himself?
Yeah, he shot himself
first. You sent me a few pictures. Wow. So there's this one particular picture that I was looking at. This is kind of a creepy picture. So where exactly is this in the house?
That's our main stairwell. That goes upstairs. So we also have it. It goes from one. You can either access it from the left or the right. So it's got kind of like the double type stairwell. So yep, that leads up into that first room right there. You see is the girls' room.
Oh, okay.
So Jill, I apologize because I actually wanted to hear the end of the monkey picture story. So I mean, I definitely feel like no, it was me hearing that scream. I'm like, wait a second. So what ended up ultimately? He committed suicide. What'd she ever do to the picture?
That's why we have it. She just
you have it. Okay.
Yeah. So she just wanted to get rid of it. And then the first night that we brought it there, we were doing an Estes method, and we said, "Well, what do you think of the monkey picture?" And they said, "Evil, get rid of it."
Oh wow!
And then we've asked a couple other things, and they don't like the monkey picture. They don't want it. And ironically, ever since I hung it up there, I no longer get power in that room. But I haven't had an electrician out to find out what is the cause of it, or that type of thing. But then I also kind of feel like investigators don't need power, so I haven't paid for anybody to come out and check that room out. So
something about you talking about how you have to flip it to read it makes me feel like, because most people would probably be reading it out loud. Like I definitely feel like you were onto something with that. Like you're opening something up.
Yeah, she did read it out loud. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's funny though, because I typed out the story so people can just read it, because I didn't want to take the picture off and read it. It's funny because people get to like when they're like, and the story is up, and I'm not reading it. So it's like,
wow, Cliz the electrician too.
Or find one in the paranormal field that'll do it for free.
Yeah,
right. But you said they picked it up on the side of the road.
They did, yeah. They picked it up on the side of the road, and it was actually sitting on chairs just like the picture, but they left the chairs. And she said her husband always regretted not getting the chairs too. So
somebody was like, "Here, take it; it's free."
Yeah, but you know what that reminds me of? Every time you say that, I think of this movie. It was the scariest movie, but this guy overseas finds something when they're digging in the mines, and he picks it up, and then he like turns devilish, and he comes to the States. That I just feel like it was like that kind of setup. Like they just like, here, we're gonna do it to somebody else. The Jumanji story. Yeah.
Sound like a Jumanji story.
Yeah, it could be. You never know. I don't get an evil vibe off it. It's just a weird, for me, it's a weird painting. It's just interesting that we get a lot of negative comments from the spirits about that painting. So
wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That's creepy. Okay. Well, I appreciate it. I don't have a whole lot more unless Laura has something else.
I don't. I mean, I'm enjoying your story. So if you have something else,
Did
please.
I freeze? Oh, will it burn? You're probably not affected by the BS energies.
It probably would burn, but
Don't burn it.
Then you're gonna
I don't want to get rid of it. You know, I kind of feel like it's not hasn't caused anything like evil or bad in the house, as far as like nobody's getting more scratched or pushed or anything like that. So I don't feel the need to get in it.
I mean, the fact that the other spirits are warning you might not be a reason, right?
Oh yeah, no, that wouldn't change it at all.
Well, at least it's an interesting conversation piece.
Right.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah, like I said, we got the whole story typed up, all about it. But we got a lot of different dolls and stuff too that that we've picked up that were supposedly haunted. And I have one that she was used at a psychic research center, I guess, and she moves. I've caught her moving several times, so she's got some energy to her. We have another one, Lisa, that's a 16-year-old girl, and people have gotten EVPs saying her name's Lisa. So yeah, it's just kind of cool. We just kind of have a whole gamut of different spirits around there in the house.
Yeah, I don't know if you said, when did you buy the house? What year?
2018. 2018 is when I purchased the house.
Okay.
And then, like I said, we took like 6 months renovating it and getting it back up to shape and stuff for people to come in and stay. And it's, we get pretty booked up right now. We've probably had a good 200 or 300 teams in, since we've opened. And most people, I would say, I would probably say a good 80% get some sort of activity, while they're there. I do know they do like to play cards a lot. I got the idea. I saw one team actually doing it when they were playing, using the K2 meter and playing 21 with them. So I started doing it, and it is so uncanny how they actually use that K2 to hit if they want another hit or don't want to hit with the cards. Wow. And I thought one day too, I'm just going to go ahead and run the spirit box while we do this. So I was just like, hey, do you want to split? Do you want to stay? What do you want to do? And then plain as day on the spirit box goes, we'll stay. So it was kind of cool. Wow. So for them to actually play. And I did have cards out one day. We were playing poker cards and stuff. And I had pushed one card to the edge of the table. And it wasn't too, it wasn't hanging over the edge. It was just to the edge of the table. And I was just like, hey, if you can show me that you enjoyed tonight's card game, just go ahead and push this card off the table. That'll let me know that you enjoyed tonight's game. And so I, kind of said my good nights finally at about midnight, and just, repeated, throw the card off. And about 15 minutes later, after we leaving, that card got thrown off the table. And I actually caught it. And I got that on film too. So I was so excited when I came down in the morning and saw it on the floor. And, I have to say, I didn't know if I caught it on film or not, because I didn't know what time it happened. But I just picked it up. I was like, oh my God, thank you so much. So yeah, they definitely, they love the cards. And we actually found out, again, from the great grandson, which is nice because he still lives in town. So getting a little history, we do know that Minnie really enjoyed playing cards. So that was kind of her thing.
Okay, so do you ever feel like spirits or sometimes just shadows, energy imprints of the past and not beings that are deciding things? Like those dolls may be more of an imprint. Good question. But
yeah, I mean, I kind of think, you have either or. You have those ones that are like, I would consider like a residual type energy, and then you have your intelligent energy. Right. I wouldn't feel like the doll is more of an imprint, since we get different interactions through the dolls, indicating that is from them. But yeah, I understand. I think you get a little bit of both, the residual and the intelligent.
Sounds like you have a lot of intelligent activity there.
Yeah, we certainly do. That's for sure. They're always watching you and making little comments and stuff. So,
yeah.
I did have you know, like I said, we did a lot of renovations, and you know, I've never wallpapered a day in my life, so you know, it was a challenge. You know, we YouTubed it, a little bit of arguing, you know, that kind of thing. I met with a psychic one time who just started talking about my house. Didn't know anything about me, nothing about my house. It just started saying all these things that there's no way this guy would have known a lot of stuff with the house. But what I found was really funny is that he said, he goes, somebody was doing wallpaper in there. They really didn't know what they were doing. And I started laughing, and he goes, yeah, the spirits really got entertainment out of it. They thought it was so funny. And I just started laughing because I'm
That's
like, oh,
funny.
that was us, you know. So they're probably sitting in a corner laughing at us, arguing, trying to figure out how to do this wallpaper and all, you know. So it's just, but then sometimes you think, oh my God, somebody's watching us. So it's like,
you know, it's funny to think of.
I'll be
It's
like,
funny to think about if you go in a little.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say it's funny to think about you going to a location and spirits going, oh my God, here they come again.
Right. Now, who's this idiot, right? I think like Jill though, like I love to soak in the bathtub. So every time I'm in there, I kind of like look like, are you guys like being creepy straight? Or I'll listen to the spirit box. Mm-hmm.
So I was gonna say, I know you do, like you have the app and you do spirit, but you don't never worry about bringing anything through, Laura.
No, because even talking to them before I flip it on, I mean, I like, unlike Jill, right? I won't have things that are dark around me because I do, especially with me having a gift, I do worry about pulling that in, right? So, I just always make it known. You know, if you're not of love and light, you're not of, you know, a family member or a friend or just someone that wants to come through that's not of darkness. Excuse me. And I always say that. I mean, I refuse to deal with it. So I think it just kind of, you know, but I mean, I do sage and pray and all that good stuff too.
Yeah. You ever
I mean,
use
what
the
would be the
Ouija
difference
board
between me
too?
doing it and you doing it? You use things and talk to them and record them. You actually use a device that captures them and takes them home with you, right? Think about it.
Yeah, good point.
Right?
I just don't do it at home, no. So that's
Yeah.
that's one of the things. But yeah, we got to go.
Sorry, guys.
You ever use a Ouija board, Jill?
You know, I'm not a big
Have you
fan
ever
of
used
them.
one?
Yeah, I mean, I did once when I was a teenager and stuff, but yeah, I tend to stay away from it. I don't, although my friend kind of points out,
Yeah, me too. I don't deal with them either.
the same thing is like, she's like, it's kind of like using your spirit box or any of the other stuff. I'm like, well, I don't think of it that way. So,
Me either. Did you have you seen, Jill? I actually put it on my page, but have you seen where they're actually now selling a Jesus board? So it's a Ouija board, but you're supposed to be able to connect to Jesus and talk on it. It's like a legit real thing that they've marketed now.
Oh, no, but it doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, right. I was kind of surprised. I had to like research it. Like, this has to be a hoax, but no, it's for sale. I'm like, if anybody believes
Wait
that.
a minute, it's a what? A Jesus board?
Yeah, so instead of being the Ouija board where you talk to just spirits, because you know that's against biblical references, right? So, but they've now created one that I guess if you're a Christian, you could talk to Jesus through spirit of the board, right? But yeah, it's a look on my Whispering Angels. It's on there. I posted it. It's maybe a month or so ago, but it's actually like legit for real. It's crazy. Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
And it has Jesus on there, and then the what do you call the little the thing that you move around? His is yeah.
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
For his board, it's a crucifix or cross with a glass piece in the middle or something to see the yeah, like it's a legit. I was gonna try to Google it while you guys are talking. It's a Jesus Ouija board.
Oh, jeez. Well, I said, you know, they come up with anything to make $1 nowadays.
I'm like, I should have made that. Shoot.
Wow.
It's called the Holy Spirit.
And people are probably actually.
Here it is. I'll see if you guys can see it. I don't know because it's where. Oh, don't buy it. For $30, guys, you can talk to Jesus.
Oh, I see it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Right. Crazy.
Wow.
Yeah, the concept was just silly to me. You know, in the paranormal field, they tell us not to believe in not to believe that you're talking to your loved ones because it's demons pretending to be. But I guess if you're a spiritualist in the church, it would be the real Jesus, not a demon.
Well, you know, well, I don't have much to say about that. That's kind of, that's different.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely.
She said she commanded the creativity. So
I know. That's why I said I should.
Okay, well, we're at our hour. I don't want to. I don't want to keep you too long, Jill, but I so appreciate you coming on, and talking about your house. So you want to give people your website where they can get some information on your house?
Yeah, if anybody wants to check us out, we're at boydhouse217.com. It's got our website on there, so it's got a little video. It's got all the information about the house, available dates, how to make a reservation. You'll find that all on our website, or visit us on Facebook too, under Boyd House.
Yeah, if I'm ever in Minnesota, I definitely want to come there. Does your team have a website?
No, we took that down just because we weren't, getting a lot of interaction with it, so it's just saving money.
Yeah. Oh, there you go. I heard that. So, okay, well, I'm going to take us out. Like I said, you guys, if you want to hold on, you can. If not, then I thank you for coming on.
It was so nice meeting you, Jill.
Yeah, nice to meet you guys.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thanks
you too. Where is it?
Are you so